I tell you, if he's sure, because now I've been speaking all this English, if he's sure for former governor of Lagos State, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, say he go fit win election, ensure free, fair, credible election. Remove all that mago, just ensure free, fair, credible election and let the results show for themselves. That's it. Why are they afraid of a free, fair,
credible election? Are they afraid?
They are. They're afraid of it. They stand against it. They do everything for it not to happen. Just allow the choices of the people matter. As they're voting, put out the result. Let's have a show. Even if it's today, let's do it today. Call the people out. Let them vote. Put out the screens and everything. Let all of us in Nigeria sit outside. We're saying the number. I think was it South Africa? Which country was doing it? You see the numbers coming in, and let the voting be. And whoever it is that gets it, let it be. So the thing is, you see the people who are afraid, you see the people who constantly do not want for this free, fair, credible election to happen. That's where the problem is. It's not about who wins at the end of the day. It's about what the people's mandate given as it is. We're enabling environment for people to vote peacefully without fear for their lives. 2023, you saw how people were fearing for their lives, people who were killed in the process of voting, people who were hurt in the process of voting, people who were denied from voting. We saw what happened in Lagos gubernatorial election. That is not election. Let us not be focused on, it's not about who is there. It's about this country. We all will die. But Nigeria, by the grace of God, is still going to be here, hopefully for the next 1,000 years. What are we doing to ensure that it gets the best that it can get? It doesn't work like that. No matter how much you see that ownership, there's a certain legitimacy that comes with, when you have the mandate of the people. And it's over 2 years now. I think we're entering the 3rd year. That legitimacy is still not there, and you see them struggling a lot to be able to get it. So you can have it's just like when you have a coup, yeah. People have coup, we have coup, and they get in, and that's not a legitimate, government, but they're there, and there's nothing you can do, and they make rules, and they do a lot of things, they do decree and all of that. That doesn't mean that you have to accept it, and that's the reason why even in Nigeria for the longest time, people fought the military era. We could also have said, there's no need because there's someone who is sitting on the seat and, saying that he is president, whether they're sworn in or not.
You recently joined the ADC. Do you believe the opposition is sufficiently united to defeat the APC as it's currently structured?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it is so. And why do I say so? Because at the end of the day, there's always a common goal that brings people together. And that goal right now is to ensure that Nigeria gets legitimate leadership that is from the mandate that the people have given, and not one that anyone has rigged or stolen or gotten themselves into. So at this moment, there is that unity of purpose towards that goal in ensuring that. Do I think that the people who are coming together, the opposition, they all like each other, they're chummy, and they would all want to have been in the same room? Absolutely not. But, when you get to a stage where it is no longer about you, but about the nation or about the goal, then everybody has to be aligned on one issue and face it. And that's what is currently happening. And for me, what I want to see is more Nigerians look at this moment that we are in our country to say it's not about our personal ideology or what we believe in, to say, we don't want to do politics because it's dirty or something. But we should look at it from the point of view that at this moment, politics is now mandatory on every Nigerian who has the capacity, who has the competence, who has the character to be in. You don't have to run for office. Just being in the party and ensuring that things are done the right way, not the usual way. And sometimes you find out that there are people who are entrenched in the way that they have been doing things for a very long time, and they have justified it and they've accepted. That's not what I'm saying. For me, it's Obi and Obi.
What if Obi is a running mate on the ticket? Would that work?
That's his choice. But I tell you, when we get there, you would see.
But would you work for an Obi as a running mate?
I don't work for Obi.
Because you have said it at some point that you have told him that he should not go. And it does look like a lot of Obidians actually listen to you. You
What
have
do you
a
actually-
huge,
No,
you have a
hold
huge,
on,
just
hold on.
remember, let me land on my
Yes,
question.
land
You have
there.
a huge command and control and
No, there's
just
no
a
command
moment.
and control.
You have a huge command and control on the thoughts of a lot of obedient who listen to you and who seem to agree with you. And a lot of them out there believe that it's obey or nothing.
Let me tell you something. That's a very wrong way of looking at it. Nobody has command and control. Nobody has command and control over obedience. No, and I repeat, nobody.
Not even Mr. Obi himself.
Not Mr. Peter Obi himself. Nobody has. These are people, and that's the uniqueness of the obedient movement. The people who are there, they came in on their own. Nobody went to go and break them. They came in on their own and saw this support. Remember that this whole started from, even though it's called obedient movement, it started from after NSAS, when politicians were saying to, to those who had been the protesters and everything, if you don't like what happened, change us. So by 2021, you could see they had started moving, getting people, mobilizing people to pick their PVCs, we're doing this and everything. And when Mr. Peter Obi came out, they saw that. By as far back as 2021, you can go and check my tweets. The tweets are still there. I had done a tweet where I gave a list of things that PDP needed to do. And one of them was, I was like, put Mr. Peter Obi at the forefront and Wike Jr. That was in 2021. By 2022, both of them had already, left the party. And so for him, that support, it's not about, there's someone who is telling them what to do. And these are people who are entrepreneurial. They have their jobs. They are not like the one that you are paying them 10. Hukumanus Yobino, they give shishi. He's not paying anybody 10,000 every month for them to talk about him or to support him. They own their support. And they've repeatedly, most of them have repeatedly said that their support is not transferable. But let me tell you something. In 2014, and those tweets are still there, and I'll refer you to that tweet. And I did say that there was no how President Muhammadu Buhari, then General Muhammadu Buhari, was going to win election, especially after what had happened in 2011, yes, and all of that. I never wanted, to vote for. And even a lot of people, they were against me as of that time. But by February, I changed my mind. Why? Because there was someone who was a running mate. And that's Professor Yemi Osibanjo. And I keep saying it. I don't have Buhari and Obasanjo's regime. I don't have any issue with Buhari, however he did, whether the incompetence and whatever, because I never believed him in the first time. But it was Professor Yemi Osibanjo that I voted for, and a lot of Nigerians. And let me remind you, by December, he was the one that started the campaign. He was on the streets. He was in Molwell. He was meeting people in their houses. He was doing town hall. He was doing common sense revolution. I'm like, wow, this is something new. And we all know Buhari. I was 10 years old when Buhari first became president, December 31st. I turned 10 December 12, 1983, and December 31st, he became president. And it was him and Idiagbo. And we saw how Idiagbo, and over the years, even when he was at PTF, you saw he's always someone who delegates. So I'm like, okay, with someone like Professor Osibanjo, we're going to have it. And guess what? And so I voted for that, because I see a lot of people, but you were the one that brought Buhari. No, it was Yemi Osibanjo for me that I was bringing him. And after that, I remember they were saying, Buhari will take care of security, Yemi with economy. I said, okay, even if you have Yemi, if he delegates to him, that makes it better. And I put my neck out and I voted. And my voice was very loud. And all for them to come. And guess what? After that, I realized that a running mate is actually like a spare tire that you were driving and you now had a flat tire, and you open your boot and the spare tire was at home. You get it?
And sometimes spare tires never get used.
Apart from even getting used, even when you want to, it's even at home. So you need to go home and bring it. And so for me, Aisha Yesufu, I am not, and I will never again, I've learned from that experience, I will never again vote for a running mate or campaign for a running mate. My campaign is for whoever is in charge, the president, whoever has the presidency. No, so I'm not using the running mate candidate as what I'm campaigning for. So I want to see a presidential candidate who I know is the most competent, has the most character, has the most empathy, has the best interests of Nigeria at heart, is not held down by luggages, and at this moment also physically fit, mentally fit, to be able to take on the job. I am 52 years old. I have a son who is 26. He's going to be 27 in March. I have my last child. She's 24 already. And I would not want to have someone who is a leader that is not mentally and physically fit enough to run Nigeria and ensure it is kept not just for me, but for also my children and my unborn grandchildren if my children decide they want to have kids.
Okay. So you will work with anybody who emerges as the candidate of the ADC?
I will work with the most competent person who emerges.
As the party deemed fit?
I will work with the most competent person. For me, it's about the most competent. If I don't see competence, it will be another story. But then, like I said, I am not, whoever is a running mate is not what holds me or makes me work or not work. I'm not here to just be in a party because I want, anyhow, it's not about, me getting in or whatever. It's a party that I know is going to ensure that Nigeria gets the best. And that's why I'm inside the party, to be able to ensure that we're all here and we give Nigeria the best that it needs to have.
I'm curious, though. I thought that the obedient movement fizzled out or died after the 2023 election. Is that movement still alive? Is that movement still alive? Are there still anyone called obedient presently?
Sure. I'm like, did I enter show? Am I?
I'm curious.
No, you're curious. You were just speaking earlier on of who is commanding or not commanding obedient movement, and then the same you are asking me a question in the next breath.
I'm just curious.
Whether there's don't worry.
Is it still active?
They are selling curiosity in the market. When we go to buy, we'll find out the answer.
Are you an obedient?
I don't know.
Are you an obedient?
I'm a Peter Obi supporter. Go ahead. If that curiosity, we'll buy it wherever it is.
So you are not an obedient?
I'm a Peter Obi supporter.
But you're part of the obedient movement?
I'm a Peter Obi supporter.
Do you think that the obedient movement or the support base of Peter Obi, as it was in 2023, still
it's
exists?
Stronger. It's stronger than it was.
The numbers have increased?
Oh, Lord have mercy. You don't even want to know. Remember also, Mr. Peter Obi, people were saying that, there are only 4 people tweeting in a room, and he can't get 100,000 votes. There were people who said they will leave politics if he even wins a state and stuff like that. And they were proven wrong. He won the 2023 election, no matter what it is that the official figures are. You've seen a lot of people who have come to confess with their own mouth what they did. But that they say, is it water by the bridge or under the bridge or whatever the expression is? We've moved on from there. Right now, those people who knew his competence and everything, that then they felt, they might be wasting their vote because he was in a smaller party, have come to see the phenomenal, outing that he had. And so a lot of them are now on board. And for me, the beautiful thing about the obedient movement is how there are so many of them who you won't see them coming out to tell you, I'm obedient, I'm not obedient. For them, it's not the title. They don't do titles. They are all out there in their millions, all over the country, just waiting. And I'll tell you something. And go and check the video immediately after the election of former Governor Dave Umahi. I think that's former Governor of Ebonyi State, if I'm not mistaken. You will see in that video where he said he didn't know that even in his family, there were a lot of obedience. And so what they did was that they voted for Mr. Peter Obi for the presidency. And then for the other ones, of course, they voted in their choices, his party. So there are a lot. And even I think the former governor of Edo State, give me his name again.
Adams Oshiomhole.
No, the immediate past
Godwin
governor.
Obaseki.
Oh, yes, Governor Godwin Obaseki also said, the same thing. His family, there are a lot of obedience. That's how it is. Literally, all over the country, they are there. So right now, you see more of them. They are just waiting. And one of the things I would say to you is how phenomenal, especially these young people, especially the obedient, they do their things, where there's this. It's not that a lot of people say it's leaderless. It's not leaderless. There's this horizontal kind of leadership. We are used to the vertical kind of leadership, like command and control. No, they're all leaders. And so everybody, they're doing their own things. And you've seen from the coalition when Mr. Peter Obi, they all came out, he was there. You see the momentum. And you can also see the increased momentum in terms of December 31st, when he also, formally called his people, obedience, and the Southeast and supporters, and say, let's go in there. You see that happening. So it's not that it's bigger than it used to be, but most times, and the beautiful thing about it is, you might say it's not in your face, but it's there.
All right.
And it's throbbing.
You recently tweeted that defeating President Tinubu in 2027 will be easier than in 2023. What specific changes or development has happened between now and then? And empirically, what are the facts to show that Tinubu, who had an 8 million vote recorded and announced for him, against a Peter Obi who had a 6 million vote, will be able, if he emerges as the candidate of the ADC, will be able to defeat? And considering that the APC now have 29 governors in the kitty, controlling state structure in 29 places, and you think that you can be able to easily defeat that kind of structure?
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing, I need you to calm down, take a deep breath, and listen. So when you said empirical evidence, you should have told me when I'm coming, I would have brought out the research.
Your calculator and your...
But anyway, in spite of that, let me go ahead and give you some. Just to say that I think in 2007, if I'm not mistaken, PDP was controlling as much as 20, maybe 7 or such numbers. Not sure of the figure. Now that's why I say if you had told me, but you pull out the figure when you're doing the testing. They were controlling as much, governor. It didn't mean that PDP was not defeated at the end of the day. That's number one. On this issue of governors that people talk about, I think are they up to 30 now that they're controlling? It's a show of strength that it's not there. So because, of course, Tinubu knows he has lost the people, so he's doing everything possible for him to be able to show, to have a perception of strength that is not available. And that's why you see him doing everything he can to bring in the governors. So just like you saw with the PDP in Zamfara, I think it was, where you had the governor who decided that he was going to join the ruling party, and what ended up happening? He ended up losing. I'm just taking you, along. So that, I think that was, what's his name again? Zamfara, the current Minister of Defense State.
Yeah.
I'm a bit poor with names. So
Bello Matawalle.
Bello Matawalle. He left the party, that he had won in, and joined the ruling party, and he ended up being defeated. That is going to happen to a lot of governors. Now also, if you look at the structure of APC, where you now have a lot of these governors have come in, and some of the reports that are coming out that some of them were promised automatic tickets when they come in and stuff, and now we are also hearing some reports that they are saying, oh no. Guess what? In this last election, there were people who had wanted to run or had run within that party, and they lost. Let me take Kano as an example. There was a gubernatorial candidate of APC gubernatorial candidate in Kano, and then now that same person, by the time you go into next election, you're telling that person that, oh, you can't run just because this governor has joined, and then what message is that going to send? And you know the way the political machinery works. For some states, they have what they call, is it like a region? Mm-hmm. I'm looking for the word now, where it is certain senatorial zone that will produce this and produce that. If it passes your turn, you miss it, you're going to stay the next maybe 8 years before you get in. And for some people, they know time is not on their side. There's going to be a huge fight. Just watch it and say that Aisha Yesufu told you. There's going to be an impulsion in APC. By the time the fighting starts, as we go on, that's enough to take care of them. That's one. Let's come back to the other issues for me. If you look at Lagos State, for me, I'm the kind of person that I always look at things and put them, look at the repercussion of every action that it's done and what the implication both now and later. In Lagos State, there was something maybe people might not think it's really important, but for me, I think it's something that is very instrumental. When Obasa, the Speaker of the House, Obasa was removed, and then overwhelming majority, and the other lady, I think Mojisola, Honorable Mojisola, I'm sorry, I'm a bit poor with names, was now
Miranda.
installed.
Smart Balance Rice Bran Oil is rich in gamma oryzanol, reduces bad cholesterol.
Need a small loan? No problem. There are 2 ways you can get it. 1. Just hand over your voter's card, debit.
Miranda, yes. And the whole back and forth that went through with it, and where, according to reports, Tinubu was not happy with that, whether his wife was not happy. And there was a meeting that they did. They all came to Abuja, including the governor, deputy governor. There's another, is it APC stakeholder? I can't remember what they call them now, in that same Lagos, who came in. And at the end of the day, they were forced to return Obasa. In doing that, I can tell you, there are people who are not happy. Because I remember that meeting, they said, Tinubu is not God. There was one who had said, Tinubu is not God. He cannot come and tell us what we are going to do in this. They've already made the decision. They've removed Obasa. They've installed this woman. You know all of that. But at the end of the day, that's reversed. What then that happens is that there are people who will now be unhappy because they were sort of like, I'm looking for the word now, shown in a light that is not good. You understand? When you are just it's not demoralized. There's a particular word I'm looking for, but I can't get it. But they were slighted. Let me use that word. They were slighted. And so there will be that anger that is waiting for as you go into 2027. Not all of that. Keep that in mind. I'm building up something. Another thing also, a lot of people who were his allies for the 2023 election are no longer his allies. There are some of them who are very angry and very bitter at the way and manner in which they were treated. And some of them have vowed they will do everything. They know the secrets. And some of them have also revealed how they did the rigging. They know the in and out. So when you're going into a race where the people who you had worked with everything, you have now in a way make them angry at you, it becomes more difficult. That's another one. The whole hula baloo happening in Rivers State, that can also be another thing. And of course, Wike being Wike, anything can happen. These are just on the part of his political allies and structure. Let me come back to the issue of generality of Nigerians. There were some who, in all honesty to them, they believed he had the capacity to do the things that they felt he was going to do. One of the things you will agree with is that there was something that Tinubu enjoyed, which was the lot of reforms that the Obasanjo administration were doing. Lagos was a beneficiary of those reforms. And whether you like it or not, it also added to all that outlook of the way Lagos went. Even though you could see Fashola did amazingly, well after. So there were some people who felt that, he had done it before. He has, what do these things they used to call it? He can organize teams, master strategies that we have not seen. The strategy is not strategizing, organize team and everything. But by him coming in and all of these things that we see in Nigeria now, where there's no strategy anywhere, everything has fallen down, things have become far worse. I mean, if anybody had told me that anyone can be worse than the presidency of President Muhammadu Buhari, I would have said it's a lie. But, I mean, Buhari is looking like a hero right now, feeling it. And so the people who now are more, who had supported him, a lot of them are no longer willing to support him. A lot of them have said it's not about tribe. It's not about Milokon or whatever it is, that it doesn't matter what tribe you are, whether you're the same street with someone who puts himself in there and takes over your resources and using it. If it's not using it well, it's going to affect you. So there are a lot of these things. These are the empirical evidence that are on ground. And so those people now have withdrawn their support. And then you now also have the northern part of Nigeria. And I'll tell you, the northern part of Nigeria was the part, especially the northwest, was the part that gave Tinubu the critical number he needed to rig election. Because for you to be able to rig election, you have to have a critical number. And I'll tell you, if you don't have a critical number, the only rigging you can do is to reduce the margin and the humiliation, like what happened in places like Lagos State, Plateau State and all of that, where there was rigging, but it was not rigging to win, it was rigging to reduce the margin. So having provided that critical number that led to the rigging that got him, sworn in and all of that, and the way he has treated that same region, there is an anger, and they're saying we're going to meet at the ballot paper. So forget whether he's picking up governors left, right, and center, inducing them to come over. Even those governors know that they do not have the people, the support of the people. So it's free for all. Okay. Some people, I don't know, it's allegations. Some people are saying that, these governors are being paid huge amount of money for them to come. I don't know how factual that is. If that is in its own is factual, everybody is going there to pick whatever it is that they can pick, knowing fully well they don't even have the support of the people. And there are so many other things in today's, and even with the insecurity that you have, the fact that insecurity has sort of like worsened. People were speaking all these years. Tinubu couldn't be bothered. It took the America designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern for him to even bother and be interested in all the security machinations. And you see where all of that is going to. And I think we say, Aisha, why? I say, I don't care. 2023. If genuinely he had won, he would have been the president, whether we like it or not, whether he's being destroyed. Or say, sure, people voted for him, and see what it is. But winning and rigging are two different things. If I tell you, if he's sure, because now I've been speaking all this English, if he's sure for former governor of Lagos, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, say he go fit win election, ensure free, fair, credible election. Remove all that mago, just ensure free, fair, credible election and let the results show for themselves. That's it. Why are they afraid of a free, fair,
credible? Are they afraid?
They are. They're afraid of it. They stand against it. They do everything for it not to happen. Just allow